I think this is a good time, Rex, to transition to your purpose. What is
Okay.
your purpose or purposes?
My purpose is to help others become the best versions of themselves. That's my purpose. My purpose, more specifically, is to help men become better men, help boys become a better adolescents, and help better adolescents become better men. To help fathers become better fathers. To help men become better husbands. My purpose is to help men identify the things in their life that's stopping them from growing, that's stopping them from becoming the best version of themselves, and to help them heal from their childhood wounds and their past traumas. Right, that conflict that they have within themselves, those negative beliefs that they have within themselves, is my purpose is to identify those things and to pour into them and give them the right resources that's going to help them um, get to the other side.
Hmm. Did your experience growing up with young parents, I should say,
Yeah,
have anything to do with you taking on this, what you
it,
do,
it had everything to do with it.
everything?
Absolutely everything to do with it. And it reminds me of a poem that I wrote back in 2020 called "Dysfunctional Family."
Hmm.
Right, and in that poem, I talked about how my parents were kids raising kids, trying to teach us what they were never taught. I talked about how what it felt like to not know how to communicate because they didn't know how to communicate. I talked about how it felt to not know how to express myself in a healthy way because they didn't show us healthy verbal expression. I talked about what it felt like to not know about sex or intimacy because we didn't learn much from them when it comes to that area. So yes, everything that I am today, everything that I do today stems a lot from my childhood, what I was exposed to, and how I was raised 100%.
What gave you the courage to talk about such things, considering where you're coming from, what your life was all about? So many individuals would shy away from it and not wanting to discuss it, but you made it your life.
Right. What gave me the courage is when I had conversations with my older cousins about my parents, right? More specifically, my mom. And she would talk about my family and my grandmother and my great granny. And she would talk about all the secrets that are within the family. And I told myself, ah, the secrets are the thing that's keeping our family bondage, right? Nobody is set free, and I don't want to be that person, the member in the family that has all this knowledge and information, and I just hold it in me, right? Or I may be hurting, but I don't let people know because that's exactly what happens within the family. We hurt, we go through things, and we don't let anybody know until the very last minute. And
Mm.
I remember very vividly back in 2012, right? I was at high school, and my ex-girlfriend at the time had got pregnant, and I didn't know how to tell my dad. I didn't know how to tell my mom. It wasn't safe for me to say those things because I didn't know how they would respond. So, God helped me navigate through that phase. But all of that kind of, you know, it made it difficult for me during that time. It made it very difficult for me during that time. So, man, a lot of these different experiences that I've had is it's
Mhm.
been it's been it's made me get to the point where I was like, you know what, it's time for me to share because somebody needs this message. Somebody needs to hear what it feels like to not be okay. They need to hear what it feels like to not feel like you're mentally where you need to be. They need to hear what it feels like to not be where you want to be financially, to not have a relationship that's just flourishing. So I wanted to be that person that was going to give them that message and share my life so they could feel like, okay, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to go get help. It's okay to be in development.
So talking about it is not something you did just off the bat. You had to grow into it.
Absolutely. It took years of journaling, of reflecting, of
Mm.
talking to God and asking him for his help, and for his guidance, and for mentors like Mr. Juan and Coach Stone and Officer Sapp, the people that really poured into me during those years.
And that's so important to have individuals, just out there supporting you, pouring into you, and just there to catch you just in case you fall.
Yes, sir.
Big piece. You're a marriage and family therapist and
Mhm.
personal development coach, and they say you're so passionate about helping individuals, and that is your purpose, of course.
Yes,
So,
sir.
talk to me about your job or role or responsibility as a family therapist, marriage and family therapist. What is that all about?
Yes. So as a therapist, as a marriage and family therapist and personal development coach, it is my duty to see individuals, couples, and families, and to help them identify the things that are causing conflict within their home. Right. A lot of times, families come in as a whole, and there's only one problem to solve. Right. Maybe it's a parent that's too controlling. Right. Maybe there's not enough boundaries. Maybe there's not enough love. Maybe there's drug abuse or just whatever. So I take a family, I have conversations, and I ask questions very similar to what you do every single time you hop on a podcast. How did I get on that track? So, of course, you have to find a school, right? It's a 3-year program that you'll take to get your master's in mental health in general. But I had to make an option. I had to make a decision. I could take the licensed professional counsel route. I can become a social worker, or I can become a marriage and family therapist. But because I come from a dysfunctional family and I wanted to focus on the family and I wanted to just focus on the couple and relationship dynamic in general, I took the marriage and family therapy route. And the goal for therapy, what I typically do, is to build relationships with all my clients, right? Because in order for anybody new to step into my office, they have to feel safe with me. They have to trust me. They have to know that I have their best interests in mind. And that sounds just like a relationship, right? You need safety, you need trust, and you need to know that they have your best interests in mind. So ultimately, what my goal is I ask questions. I ask questions and I listen and I use my discernment to identify the underlying messages. So it's a lot of people come in and say, there's nothing wrong with me. My relationship is going great, but sometimes I feel this way, right? And then I'll pay attention to what they said then, and I connect it to something that they said another different time, and I'll go deeper. Like, all right, tell me more about your family. Tell me more about your relationship with your parents. Tell me more about your relationship with yourself. And I can uncover a lot of different things when they answer those questions. And my goal from that point is to help them get from where they are to where they want to go.
Where they are to where they want to go. Do you enjoy your work? Do you enjoy what you do?
Man, I love it to the point where it doesn't feel like work at all.
Mm.
It doesn't feel like work at all. I have a beautiful office. It's very comfortable, very relaxing. I'm able to wear stuff like this at work. I wear hoodies and jeans and sometimes sweatpants because I'm able to just to sit back, relax, and talk. It doesn't take much work at all.
What is that written on your shirt? On your
On my
hoodie?
shirt, it's my brand. It's Try Therapy, Not Me. Try
Try.
Therapy.
Explain the not me part to me.
Right. So this is a spinoff of a song, and the song said, "Try Jesus, not me, because I throw hands." Right. So in other words, I was like, you know what? I like that concept, and it was Mental Health Awareness Month, so I was like, you know what? Let me switch it up. But essentially, what it means is, instead of projecting your feelings on somebody else, instead of trying to control somebody, it's better for you to go get help. It's better for you to go talk to a therapist or talk to a coach to understand why you're so controlling, to understand why you feel the way you feel, so you don't project and bleed onto other people.
Wow. You know, you're clearly very positive about what you do.